I'm Jay Cormier from Off the Page Games, and this is How to Start a Board Game Company, episode 41. We're going to take a closer look at the sample that we got from our manufacturer, go through it kind of with a fine-tooth comb, and figure out what kind of feedback we're going to be giving to our artist and back to the manufacturer on things that we'd like to change. And let's take a look. First thing I noticed was the corner was dinged, and that might just be from this packaging, but it gives me an opportunity to call it out and say, hey, make sure we have proper packaging. What can we do to make sure that we don't get any more dings, because we do not want that. Opening the box, the first thing that I could see that was wrong, and I even knew this going into it, was that the wallet itself was on the wrong side. They folded it the wrong way. I'm like, oh no. When I opened it up, I noticed that the insides were actually not glued down at all, so it allowed me to switch it up myself, but that was another question of like, why weren't they glued down? Upon further looking into the files, I noticed that they actually didn't even have there's supposed to be a little kind of tray that goes in here that's glued to it, and then these things go into the tray, so they missed that entirely. But a bigger miss entirely was that Game Trays gave us a new template. And I forwarded it on, and so it's half my mistake because I just forwarded it on to Gameland, the manufacturer, but I didn't even look at it to see that and know that it was different. So I didn't think to look at it, and therefore they had old art from Matt using the old template that Game Trays had given me, and they had this new template, and they ended up using the art. They thought that's one they should go for. Then by using the new art, it didn't fit, and you see everything's kind of bowing and kind of bending and not fitting perfectly. It's because of that, because they needed to make the trays a teeny bit bigger, and now it won't fit. So we have Matt now working on the art for the new wraparound wallet. Everything's going to just snap close perfectly. This will be way better in the future. The actual sealed packages are supposed to kind of snap to the bottom tray, and I was told that's just because the first print of anything with a mold, plastic mold, isn't very well defined. They've already made a second print of this, and they showed how their version already snaps in and out much better, so that's maybe not an issue to worry about, but something to look at. For the box bottom, it was in the template, so this was just a miss, but they forgot there's these little divots, these little cutouts that allow you to pull out the wallet a lot easier. The secret map ended up being just a few millimeters bigger than it should have been, and because of that, it now doesn't fit perfectly into the game trays, and so we have to make sure that that gets shaved down at about 3 millimeters so that it'll fit perfectly. And because of this, the corners are kind of bending up, and already I'm kind of wondering about durability. Should this mini board be wrapped like a board so that it doesn't get kind of banged up on the sides? That's what I'm going to ask. The board looked beautiful, but there is already some paper coming up right from the corners already, and I just want to ask about that. And I've had it for like 5 minutes, and I can already see some tiny bits of paper coming up. What's it going to be like after months or years of playing with it? The screen looks amazing. I don't like the gloss look, so they're going to turn it into a matte. And also the plastic holders for the deluxe, it doesn't work at all. They kind of just put too much glue in there, and so these cards don't actually even fit in the pocket. So we have to come up with a better solution for that. The character tokens in the deluxe were too thick. There was a message I had given to Game Trays to reduce the thickness, but you know what? I don't think I gave that message to Matt. So when Matt uploaded his art for the tokens, he used the old measurements, and so that's my bad for not connecting everybody like I should be. So we're gonna just kind of reduce the thickness a little bit, and that'll make sure that they all fit, because right now they actually poke up too high, causing everything else to be too high, and we won't be able to fit everything perfectly into the game trays like it should go. The time token for the deluxe was wood, but they kind of just glued 2 pieces of wood together, which is okay, but I'm just asking, is there any way to make this seem less noticeable? It doesn't look that deluxe in my opinion, so we're going to see if we can make that look cooler. The recruit tokens only had 10 in the package, and they need 12. Just an oversight, but hey, you got to call it out. For the retail version, I noticed that the little plastic stands where all the cardboard character tokens go into, they were just too tight. I had to really wrench on them, and some of them were actually kind of peeling back some of the cardboard and the paper on the character tokens and damaging them. I'm like, okay, these are too tight, and so much so that a few of them actually broke because I was pushing them too much. So we're going to obviously have to fix that and get wider plastic standees. The sealed boxes, they gave me the measurements, and I didn't do my due diligence in understanding that the window, the plastic see-through window, was that small. And I had the measurements the whole time. I just never really measured it out, so that's my bad. but it's too small for me because the issue number of the little mini comic tells you the order that you open these packages, and now that's impossible to see. So either A, I have to get Matt to move that number down far, so it's in the window, but I think B, a better solution is we're actually going to label these packages, put a sticker or a print right on these cardboard boxes, which one is which, so you know the order that you have to open them up. This was a big eye-opener. When everything is packed into the retail version, there is a lot of empty space. And this made me think, you know what? I think for the retail, we have to go to a thinner, smaller box, which is great. I think that's just going to help everybody on shipping and even storage once you get in your home for those that get the retail box, because the retail box is what's going to exist afterwards going forward. So this is going to be a big thing. So right now I have them looking into different cardboard inserts that can help keep things sorted. And then we're going to have a new template that Matt will redo the box for. And that was all the feedback we had for the manufacturer. And then we had a bunch of feedback for Matt with regards to art. Not saying it's Matt's fault. It was just a mixture of missing things and miscommunications. I'll take all the blame. Sure, why not? I can't share a bunch of them with you because they're all from the secret packages. But for the non-secret package stuff, we had, for example, the move. When I looked at the board, the word move, and I look at a card, the card move, the background for the banner there is way different color blue than the move here. The move here on the board looks too similar to the shakedown color, which is more green. So I just asked Matt to reduce the transparency on that and make it a bit more bluish. So he's working on that. There was a typo on the side of the box. That's I can't believe we all missed, relaxation. So that's an easy fix. On the back of the box, we're also looking at changing the SKU number. So we're going to be doing that because we want to have two different SKUs, one for retail and one for Kickstarter. So that's an easy one. And I'm changing the address, so it's not my actual address. I went out and got an actual address from UPS, so I have an actual business address now. Bunch of things in the rules we have to change, some bolding issues or some things about where to put the remaining cards, the remaining feature deck, that kind of stuff. Or here, capture, that is an full game, so that needs to have kind of an orange box around it. Maru here, we need to say that Mayhem doesn't stop the psychic crosshairs. That was just a miss, so that's a good catch. On this page, we actually increased it to 10 step tokens, but we forgot to include that in the component, so we have to up that to 10. So there you have it. That's what I was looking for when I kind of inspected my sample. Obviously, when you get your sample, you got to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and just call out anything that you don't think is up to par. At least question it, ask about why it might end up costing you more money. We had some issues about the game trades. They can accept a few minor altercations, but if there's any big altercation or change to the game trades, that's a whole new mold. And so we don't want to do that. So you have to really make sure that you ask if there's any extra price increases for any of the changes that you incur. For example, anything with heat pressed images, if that has to change, the art on that, that's a new cost for that. So ask. But that's it for me in this episode of How to Start a Board Game Company. Thank you so much and see you again.